everybody. Hello, how are you? My name is Cheryl Horvath and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Woodinville, Washington. Today I have another installment of my weekly tips and tricks. I think this is episode number 6 now. Today I'm going to focus on a couple of different tools and some tips that I have for some of the tools that we use in our craft room every day. Before we do that, a couple of housekeeping things. Let me turn the camera down so you can see my desk. I dressed up for you today. Can you tell? It's been kind of a weird weather here in the Pacific Northwest. One minute it's warm and the next minute it's cold. And I actually had to turn the heater on this morning, which was scary. But anyway, just a quick thing. The World Card Making Day is October 1st. And if you haven't heard about that, hop over to stampinup.com and click on World Card Making Day for more details, and you can learn more about it. But it's basically an several hour event. I forget what time it starts, but it's all, the information's all over there on the website. There is going to be 3 card tutorials done that day using each of these 3 bundles. You don't have to have these bundles to participate. They have provided cutting instructions for each of the 3 different projects that they're going to make. So there's going to be demonstrations, presentations, and then there's 3 projects that are going to get made during the day. And I think it ends at 4 p.m. I want to say it starts at like 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm guessing, so I should just stop. But anyway, so they have the metrics for you, or the measurements for you for the 3 different projects. There's going to be 1 project from each of these 3 sets: Cottage Rose, Cottage Wreaths, and Warm Welcome. I have purchased all 3 of them because I have fear of missing out disease. So I'm going to be crafting along as we go, but you can use your own stamp sets that you have, and then you'll have the measurements here so you can be prepared. You can cut your things up in advance or whatever, and just follow along. And if you don't feel like crafting that day, then you can just flip it on and have it on in the background and listen to it and craft away, do whatever you want. But it is World Card Making Day, so I encourage you all to make a card, send a card, put it in the mail, and make somebody smile. Okay, so that's that. The other thing is the weekly specials are back. They're not back. There's a new round of them. And so you should hop over to see that. The thing I wanted to show you was the festive foils. Those are on the weekly special this week. Those are on sale for $8, so $2 off the normal price. This is just a little mini pack, sample pack that I had in my stash that I wanted to show you how pretty this paper is. It's out of the mini catalog, so you can see it there, and I think it coordinates with one of the stamp sets. But these come in 12 by 12 sheets. I just have them cut down to 6 by 6 for demonstration purposes. But this beautiful soft succulent green with the metallic snowflakes on it. And then this, I believe, is cherry cobbler. Yep, cherry cobbler. Again, really, really pretty foil techniques, and I love this one. This is gold with just some dots. So the stamp set that they have kind of paired with it is in the mini catalog. Oh, it's actually this right here. If I can find it quickly. Here we go. It's called the Christmas Lights Bundle. And I think that what they intended, I don't have this bundle, but I think what they intended is some of these dies work with the paper, and the shininess of the paper shines through, and so festive foils, yeah, number 6. It's normally $10. You get 3 designs, 2 sheets of each, and you'll get it for $8 this week with the special. So here are some of the sample cards that they made using that foil. Really pretty stuff. There's a bunch of other products in there. Let's see. There's the Abigail Rose poster. That's new. There's the iridescent trim. There's the Sweet Sorbet metallic woven ribbon. some other ribbons. Go check it out. Weekly specials. And this is now week number 3, I believe. So we have one more week to go on that. Okay, the last thing is the giveaway. Judy Harmon is our winner for this week's drawing. She was randomly selected and because she left a comment, and she is going to receive this super cute Stampin' Up! Mug as a thank you for watching and being a subscriber. I don't even know how much this holds, but it looks like a pretty standard size mug, probably 8 ounces or so. But anyway, super cute ceramic mug, has a great gingham pattern on it. It says has Stampin' Up! Logo, and that is going into the mail to Judy as soon as Judy, just email me your address. Email me at Cheryl@cardsbycheryl.com, and I will get this in the mail to you right away. So for next week's giveaway, I'm going to give away another stamp set, and it's going to be winner's choice from, I've got a stash of these extra celebration stamp sets, so you'll get to pick which one of these you want. I've got Driving By, Catching Butterflies, the Perfect Pomegranate set, or Hippus Hippos. I don't have the dies for those, but so that will be the set, and you'll get a sleeve of the this paper. This is also a celebration item that I have a lot of. So the silver and gold lined paper with one of the stamp sets will be the prize for this video's drawing. Okay, done with announcements. Let's get down to brass tacks here. So today I wanted to talk about some of the tools that we use every day in our crafting, and I'm going to start with the paper trimmer. This is hard to get in camera, so I'm going to turn it this way. But tell me if you guys notice anything about my paper trimmer right offhand. I'll give you a second to look. I bet yours doesn't have this big yellow strip on it, does it? This is something that I purchased, and this white strip here is another addition that I made. And I'd like to say it was my idea, but it wasn't. I just don't remember. I'm going to move this over so there's no glare. I don't remember which demonstrator it was, but there's a bunch of demonstrators out here that do it. So when you get your trimmer, this piece with white strip of paper is not there. It's clear, just like the rest of it. And what's challenging is you can't really, without the white background placed in here like this, it's really hard to see. So the way that you use this strip is, say you had a piece of paper that you were trying to figure out how wide it was. Instead of going like this and opening up your thing and going, okay, well, look, it's 3.5 inches wide. Without opening or touching anything, you basically just line it up here, hold it against this edge, and go, oh, look, it's 3.5 inches long. So it measures things this way without having to open it up and line it up in your score track. So that's one tip. And so I just cut a piece of basic white thick, it looks like it's about 1/4 inch wide. And then how did I glue it down? I think I just put adhesive. I just put like Stampin' Seal. Yeah, that's all I did. I just ran a 1/4 strip of Stampin' Seal onto the white paper, and then I glued it down. So if you have 12-inch paper, I didn't have any 12-inch white, so I just pieced 2 together. I don't know if you can see, there's a seam right there. It takes 2 seconds to do this little trick. And then this right here is, I got this tip from Patty, can't remember her last name. She's a famous, not a famous demonstrator, but she's a well-established demonstrator that's done very well. She's got a ton of followers. The heck is her name? Patty something. But anyway, this is handy because when you are measuring up here, let's say you want to get something to 4 1/8, right? Well, you're covering up your number. And so it's nice to have it reinforced up here in the yellow. So hopefully that makes sense. And do you see how, like, if you wanted to get to 4 1/8, you're covering up, and so you go like that, and then you have to move up. But it's just easier if you have a reference across the top here. So when I cut, 5.5 is obviously a super popular cut measurement, and so I'm always, my eye jumps up to here for the 5.5 mark, then rather to here for the 5.5 mark. So and that's a little, you just have to be careful how you place it when you stick it down. This is self-adhesive, so it comes it comes with adhesive backing on it already, and so you just have to make really sure you line up that 1-inch mark with the 1-inch mark on your trimmer so that it's all copacetic. So that 3 inches here is really 3 inches here. So it takes a bit of an eye to get it right, but I find that super helpful. I will link to this product down below so that you guys can get to it if you want. It's sold in, it's called Power Tech, and it's sold in a 4 foot piece for $6.35. So pretty inexpensive. So there's my trimmer tips. Okay, moving on. The next tip I wanted to share with you has to do with the stamparatus. That's not next. Stamparatus is last. Not necessarily just the mini, but your die cutting emboss machine. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use the mini. Some people have a hard time getting the plates to catch when they're running it through. In other words, they're trying, and it spins, and they can't get the plates to actually catch and then push all the way through. And I won't say it's 100% foolproof, but it works for me 99% of the time. And so what I mean by that is, I think I should put it, let's see, should I do it this way so it's in camera better? I guess that's fine. So let's say we're going to die cut these two pieces. The method that I use, first of all, Post-it tape is my best friend when I'm die cutting. I use this all the time. I have like 3 rolls of it. So Post-it tape, can you guys see this? I'm going to pretend there's images here that I'm stamping out. So I'm just going to tape these down. Sometimes I use one piece for 2 images, or sometimes I use a piece of tape for each image. It just depends on how big it is. And then I'm going to line up my plates like this and set it in, and I'm going to push it until the handle kind of shifts a little bit. Do you see that, how it's moving? And then you're just going to crank it through. And that just kind of engages it. I don't know what people are doing. I was doing a class last year, shortly after the mini came out, and I was asking all of the gals who were in my class to die cut their own pieces, and I brought a couple of minis for them to use. And they were having a heck of a time with it. It was just like not grabbing, and so I played with it for a little bit. And you just really need to make sure you engage it first before you start cranking, because it's like, and a lot of people sometimes they think, oh, I'll just stagger the plates like that, and that sometimes works for me too. Like that goes through just fine, but for me, I just feel like it works best if I get everything all lined up and then push it, make sure it engages, and then run it through. Whoa. It's hard to do on camera, like so. Okay, so that's that tip. Then the other tip I wanted to share is kind of a cost-saving tip. And this is how I've always, even before I became a demonstrator, how I've always managed my cutting plates. So you've got your base plate, and then you have your 2 cutting plates. One is always my bottom plate. When I say one, I don't mean number 1. I say one of the 2 plates is always my bottom plate, and the other one is 99.9% of the time my top plate. I've got some cuts on here because I goofed and forgot maybe and got them mixed up by accident, but for the most part, I always keep bottom plate as the bottom plate so that that is the one that gets all nasty and scratched up. The reason I do that is because when you're cutting some delicate papers like gold foil, if you use this scratchy one as your top plate and run this through, can you guys see what it does to your paper? It mars it all up. But if you keep the smooth plate on the top, it may mar up the back of it a little bit, but it won't do that to the top of it. So that's why I always keep my bottom plate as the bottom, my top plate as the top. And then what's the cost saving part of it is when you have a new pack of plates, all you need to do is get one out, because what happens is you're going to throw this nasty one away. Your old number one is going to become your bottom plate, and your nice clean plate is going to become your top plate. So you basically are doubling the use of the length of use of your plates. Instead of throwing both of these away, or like I said, switching them from top to bottom, you're going to end up marring your paper. But throw one away, keep this one, make this your new bottom plate, and then make your fresh one your new fresh plate. So then you still have one left in the package for when this one goes bad. So that's my tip there for you guys on that. Clear as mud, right? Okay, this away. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the stamparatus. Where did I put it? Here it is. And I'll be honest, I don't use this a ton, but I'm starting to use it a little bit more often. And I didn't really utilize this second plate as much as I could, but when you get into the card making holiday season and you're doing mass production of cards or whatever, stamping, this second plate can really come in handy. But the first thing I wanted to show you is that what I have been doing, find myself doing lately, is using my stamparatus without the plates on it. Let's just set those aside for a second. Using this as a staging area. So I can hold, sometimes I find that everything's all loosey-goosey or flipping around. And so I'll grab both the magnets and have them ready up here. And if I'm ready to do gluing, I'll even do this. I'll put my silicone craft sheet down, or craft mat, and that way it protects the foam. If you have the foam down there, you could take it all out, I suppose, and just go straight to the surface. But rather than cluttering up your desk with more pieces, I just leave everything intact. Put down the silicone sheet, put my card front on top of that. I hold it down, and then I didn't do a very good job of planning what I could show to demonstrate, but I've got some bits and pieces here. This isn't a real card, but just pretend. So let's say you're arranging something on your card and you get it just how you want it, and you want this up there, and now you're ready to glue it. I can throw this down there like that, and then I can take out the big piece that I want and pull it out and put my adhesive on it, and then slide this away, keeping these other pieces intact, and then I can tuck it in, get it in place, and then throw my magnet back over it like that. And you basically just kind of use it to help you keep things in place. I'm great for getting my design on my card perfectly the way I want it. And let's say there's 6 elements to it, right? Some are tucked, some are lifted up with dimensionals, some overlapping, and it can just be super complicated to get it all back in the exact same spot you had it when you had it perfect, but now you need to glue it down. So using these magnets, and sometimes even the smaller magnets, if you have the little round ones that come with like the, I don't know, the Misty or some of the other stamparatuses, are a little easier to, and smaller, so they're more focused. So like you could put a little round magnet right here instead of this big honking guy. But I don't have any of the round magnets anymore. Anyway, so that's my tip for that. Use it as a staging plate and use your magnets to your advantage. And then if you do glue down here, your silicone craft sheet protects your foam and protects your stamparatus. Then, okay, finally, the next thing I didn't discover it. I knew it was there all along, but sometimes Stampin' Up! Is so clever. These hinges that go in like this are meant to be used as placement hinges so that once you get your stamp placed, you can replicate stamping simply by just pulling it off the hinge and stepping it down one, like so. So I was looking at this stamp set the other day, and because I love this pattern, and I tried to freehand getting it in a row like as a border across the bottom of my card. So let me pull a piece of paper out as an example. Oh, something weird's going on over here. So let's just say this is 8.5 or 4.25 by 5.5. So what I do is I do need a grid sheet for this trick, and these grid papers are sold. I think I'm almost out of mine. They're sold in the store. Yeah, I don't think I have any more, so I have to order some, but because I used them all. But what I do is, let's say I want to put this stamp all along this left edge. Or actually, let's put it on the fold side. So let's say this is our card base and you want to stamp directly onto it. I'm going to line up, I'm going to put my paper down. I'm going to pay attention to what line I'm at. So I'm at the 14-inch line right here. Then I'm going to place this in the center for my first marking. Just score that a little bit better. So I'm going to place this right about in the center. This worked for me the other day, so I hope it works for me today. And then I'm going to, how do I explain this? You want to set it up so that you're two or three spaces away, because what you're going to do is we're going to put this down. Maybe I'll just show you. It's easier. So we're going to put this down. We're going to stamp it. It's just not getting creative with ink color or anything right now. This is just to show you. So you're going to stamp it like so. Make sure you use your rulers. Not your rulers, your magnets. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pick this up and you're going to shift it 2 steps. So it was right here, so we're going to go 1, 2 and pop it down 2 steps like that. Now we're going to ink it up and stamp again. And look what happens. It's perfectly aligned, you guys. Like perfectly. Okay, so if you were to, well, let me finish. Okay, so now to do the top part, we're going to pick it up and go 2 steps up from where we were and re-ink it. I don't know why that felt a little wobbly to me, but I don't know. It's perfect. So what an awesome border that would be for a card, and how easy is that, right? I just love this. And so, but what I was trying to explain that I thought I was struggling with is why you have to position it at the top like this. And so let me show you why, because let's see, we started right here, right? So we put the stamp down first, like this, in the middle, where we wanted it. And then like so. And then if we were to not step it up two away, let's say we put it just like that, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to put that in the middle, and you're going to stamp it like so. Then you go to do this part, and you go 1, 2. Well, you're hitting a wall here. You can't get it in. So that's why, so there's this corner edge that is not helpful. So that's why, I mean, it works to go this way, right? You could do the 2 up and put that down there, but you start here, you can't go any further down this way, if that makes sense. That's why you always start it in the center like that. I hope that makes sense. I didn't think very hard about how to explain that. I should have. So that's that. And I did a couple other. So pay attention to your stamps. When you get them and you think, oh, that's going to be a tough one to freehand stamp or whatever, pay it, because Stampin' Up! Puts a lot of thought into the size of the images in relationship to how it's going to function on the stamparatus for repetitive stamping. So just to give you some ideas, this stamp set's been around for a little bit, but it's still current, and it's the Happy Birthday. It's this one. And all I did was I positioned the happy, moved this up to start kind of in the center, and then I positioned the happy here, and then I just stamp and then moved 1, and then stamped again and moved 1 to get this repetitive. Oh, there's Amazon. To get this repetitive. And then I just did the same thing for the birthday. And so once you stamp all the happies, then you take the happy off, or you can position it on this other one. You could leave the happy on here, take that away, set it aside. Let's say you're not done making cards with it. You're doing 20, but you want to do the so then you use the second one and you line up the birthday one, and you've got 2 plates that have the stamps lined up exactly how you need it, so that you can do a bunch of mass production on stamps. So here's an idea that I used with this stamp set. This one I did with the thanks out of this one, and I just centered it. And I thought this would be cute to cut off this extra white and then put a color background behind it and just make a really simple thank you card. This one I did using the Hello Ladybug floral that's in there, and even though it's overlapping, it's kind of fun to step stamp that daisy as a border or whatever. This one I was playing around with this ladybug stamps 3 times on a standard size card, runs off a little bit each side, but it would be cute. These don't quite work for that. So you've got to kind of play with it. The snowflakes are great. I forget what stamp set that came from. I don't have it handy right now. But that would make a fun little border too. So anyway, just pay attention to your stamps when you get them, and don't forget to think about how they could work in your stamparatus as repetitive stamping technique. Was there anything else I wanted to tell you about the stamparatus? I'm sure there's lots more. I already shared with you the acetate trick. I keep a sheet of acetate in here so that if I'm not quite sure where I want something positioned, I can stamp it. I can put my card underneath it, and then I can position my stamp where I want it to be, where I think it should be, and then stamp it right onto the acetate, and then that way you can use this as your guide and go, no, I really want this down here. So you've stamped your image onto the plastic before you've stamped it onto your card, and then you can basically decide where you think it looks best. So that's just a visual aid. So that's the other way I use it a lot too. So, okay, that's my tips for the week, episode 6. I hope you guys enjoyed this so far and you're still watching. I would love for you to like and subscribe to my channel. If you know anybody that would benefit from these tips and tricks, by all means, please share this video with them. That certainly helps my channel growth. and like and subscribe. And if you want to be entered for the prize for next week, give me a comment and a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Okay, guys, that's it for me. We will see you next week. Bye.